Welcome back. You're watching the final Sports World edition of the year, and of course one of the highlights of any sporting year is, of course, the Melbourne Cup run here in Australia, and who can forget the stir that magnificent Irish racehorse Oscar Schindler caused in this year's Spring Carnival. You see, the bookies and the punters sent him out the favourite to take out the Cup, but as Gordon Bray discovered, the big red horse had lost the race even before it had been run.
The Curragh racetrack outside Dublin is the headquarters of Irish racing. It's home base for many of Europe's best thoroughbreds, including Melbourne Cup failure Oscar Schindler. It's now been well documented that the giant Entire was beaten before he even got to the starting stalls on Cup Day. Punters in Australia invested millions on the popular fancy, but in truth didn't get a run for their money because the training facilities at Sandown were totally unsuitable.
He didn't require rock-hard ground. He has always trained either on shavings, sand, and he would swim 3 or 4 times a week. We had no swimming facilities there, and the only facility there was grass.
Before departing for Melbourne, Oliver Lahan and trainer Kevin Prendergast had wrongly assumed their champion would have access to a swimming pool and an all-weather track at Sandown before the big race. But come the first Tuesday in November 1996, the Big O was literally a fish out of water.
On Derby Day, which was a couple of days before, there were at least 6 horses pulled up sore, and one of them broke down badly. Now, we wouldn't see that at Ascot, or we wouldn't see it anywhere else. I mean, so the ground must have been very hard, and an awful lot of trainers did complain about the ground.
I didn't like the way he went round the birdcage. I thought he didn't carry his feet well. When I saw Mick Canaan canter him down to the start very lightly, I didn't think he let himself down. And certainly as the race unfolded, after passing the stand the first time, for me, my fate was sealed. The horse just wasn't letting down on the ground.
He was jarred up?
I would have thought that.
So this is the original trophy?
That's correct. It's solid silver, a lot of famous names on it.
Lahan is justifiably proud of his magnificent charge. He bred the horse, and it hurts deeply that Australians didn't see the real Oscar, the one that ran a brilliant third in the Prix de l'Arc de Triomphe, and then demolished his rivals in the Group 1 Irish St Leger. He was cruising here.
Yeah, he broke the track record this day. He ran 7 seconds and 9 seconds faster than vintage crops.
Oscar Schindler, the leader from Keith Change, then in third place, Positano's, I'm supposing in Sockman, but Oscar Schindler is going to win it as he races up towards the line. Oscar Schindler striding up to the line.
The ratings would say he's definitely one of the 4 or 5 best horses in the world. If he hadn't run in Australia, he would be rated the 3rd highest mile-and-a-half horse in the world.
Connections are adamant the VRC has its priorities out of order when it comes to European horses.
VRC were more interested in horticulture than horse culture. They put more water on the flowers than they did on the track.
And there's a lesson there then, for future?
Yeah. The ground in all places is supposed to be good, not brick hard, for the safety of the horse.
I'm not here to knock the Melbourne Cup. I think it's a fantastic institution. I think it's fantastic the hype it gets. I think it's fantastic the way you market it. But you can't keep all the money. If you're going to get European horses again, certainly the caliber of Oscar Schindler, they're going to have to be like the Japan Cup, invite them out, all expenses paid. Japan Cup this year has the best horse in the world, Helicio, has one of the best, Pentar, one of the best 2 or 3 horses in the world. They're there because they're getting a free ride for £1 million.
The harsh reality of the Oscar Schindler campaign in Melbourne is that despite the hype and publicity, punters were duped. The rock-hard track on Cup Day meant that the Big O was really a 100-to-1 chance. Instead of the hot pot, he was sent out.
Would you do it again?
Well, I wouldn't dream of bringing the caliber of horse of Oscar Schindler to Australia again, unless he was totally paid for. You have to have some kind of guarantee that the ground is raceable. I don't want to break down the horse. I'm sure Bert Cummins doesn't want to break down his horse either. The ground on the day wasn't suitable for a European horse anyway.
The little punter was the big loser with Oscar Schindler. But fingers crossed, there should be a chance to recoup losses. Oscar will now be set for the Prix de l'Arc de Triomphe again next year. As for the Melbourne Cup, well, put it this way, you wouldn't back him with bad money. Gordon Bray in Dublin for Sports World.
Thank you, Gordon. And that Flemington track came under fire again yesterday. Max Presnell with his thoughts on that a little